Hey guys, coming right up. I'm trying to figure out how to see the chats on this thing. It's not as easy as you think it is. The technology isn't that smooth. But hold on one type. I'll be jumping on in a second to talk about renovations and alright, coming up guys. Alright. Ready, set, and action. Hey guys, it's Lisa. How are you guys doing today? We actually celebrated Thanksgiving today. Anyways, I come from Las Vegas where everyone in the town works in the service industry. So on Thanksgiving Day, everyone works gets double time pay. So everyone works on Thanksgiving and you always have it the day before or in the morning or like the Wednesday. It's always some other day other than Thanksgiving. I also want to say, of course, respectfully, I respect your day of mourning for the natives who have their history to contend with their side of what this holiday is for. So, want to acknowledge both and just put a, just say we acknowledge your pain and your day of reflection for what it really is. And it's something that we should all respect. So I wanted to come on and talk about renovations because that's a big part of when I work with clients, what they are seriously into. It affects your cash flow. It affects your strategy. It affects your budget. It's basically the scariest thing that you can get yourself into because at the end of the day, that's the scary part. And I just want to talk about how I work with my clients and get around it so you know what you're doing, right? So in general, the biggest parts are finding a contractor that can do it, but the first question you should ask yourself is if you should even do that big renovation. In the sub-30K rental income system, I really go into the details of what kind of strategies and houses you should get based on your income, and second part are resources, and secondly, what are you comfortable with? Right? And thirdly, regardless of what it is, how do you work with contractors to manage that, especially if you don't live in the same area? It could be an hour drive away, 2 hour, it could be 4 states away, right? So those are the 3 main areas, and I just want to talk about how you navigate those and scale up your strategy depending on where you fall. There's never yes or no or just one way to do anything in real estate investing. If you learn that and people don't have an answer, that's just because they don't have an answer. It doesn't because there's not another way to do something. And so I always try to tell, we all have choices. We have to just decide which choice we'd like to take and have a wide range, right? So the first question to do is, first, before we even get to the items that are actually in my rental income system training, but first, how comfortable are you with the big renovation? I bet some people, if I told them there's a $30,000 renovation, but at the end of that $30,000 renovation, they buy the house for $5,000, $30,000 renovation, they'll get $1,200 a month in income, then you know what? They're okay with that. They're like, bring it. I'm very comfortable with the gut rehab, right? And that's them. And they're going to get better deals because they're willing to put more money in at that lower price range to get the return. So, of course, you're not going to put $30,000 cash to get $100 a month in cash flow, right? If you're making $700 a month in rent, I wouldn't you want to put all $30,000 into that, right? But if you do have quite a bit of resources and you do get that substantial payoff, which to me is no less than $400 plus a lot of appreciation, maybe because they're revitalizing an area across the street, or at least $500, $600, $700, $800 a month in cash flow. Yes, that is possible. Yes, that is what you should be going for. So first of all, get real. And there's some of you guys who are like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable with any level of renovation outside of cosmetic. And that's okay. And so you have a couple of choices. One of your choices could be that you get a property that is more expensive, but closer by, right? So you're like, I don't have to get on a plane, but it is double the price. It's not 50K, it's 100K. It's modest, but I don't have to worry about that, and the houses are well kept. Or it might be, I'm okay with travel, so it won't be something that's 100K. You'll still get something that's 45 or 50, but you travel to the market or location where you can find that consistently without a big renovation. And if you have 4 or 5 markets that you choose from, because my clients I always tell them narrow it down to your top 3 to 5, and then we go through it together to see which one would probably work out best for what their goals are and everything they need to account for. And then it might be, okay, I'm okay with travel, so then your world and options are going to be, I'm going to find this market that's 4 states over that offers the houses in the level I want, and I will travel to get there. And it might be maybe you have to travel an extra hour by train or plane or car to get there to hit those metrics, but you want to know going forward what you really care about, because if you do care about it, that extra hour to some people, because they really care about not doing the renovation and they want to get started on real estate now and not 20 years from now, they're okay with like that extra hour in drive. So maybe it's 3 hours round trip when I usually only want you to do 2 at the most. And FYI, I've done 2 each way. It's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. It's your Saturday. It's your business. Trust me, when you're passionate about your business and you like what you're doing and you're having a good time, it's nothing to travel to go see it. Do what you need to do with the contractors and leave, right? So the first question is, what is your comfort level? Right? And then the second question is, how far are you willing to travel? Both of those questions will impact your strategy and what kind of houses you can in reality get, right? Or versus what you can find if you are okay with stretching. And at the end of the day, it's okay. You're not always supposed to chase the cheapest house in a neighborhood, especially if you're not comfortable with it, right? Like, that's not your place, nor would I want you to do that, nor do I recommend you doing it. So those are the first considerations. And so this is going to be a faster live today. I just really want to get in so you can see us, so I can say hi, happy Thanksgiving also, and tell you about the Black Friday sale. And so it's not going to be as long as some of my other lives. So once you get past what are your wants and needs, and they absolutely need to be taken into account. Some people are like, oh, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. It's your business. That other person talking all this, yeah, they're not going to manage it. They're not going to answer the phone calls. They're not going to pay for anything. So it needs to be your business to your comfort level. And then we scale and adapt to that, and we see what we have to do to make it happen. And yes, it can happen. It just depends on you, right? But, you know, it's easy. It doesn't have to be this hard thing if you know how to adapt it. So the second thing is, what are your cash resources? If you have, say, $30,000, I don't want you putting it all in one property unless the payoffs are huge, right? Maybe it's like, yeah, they're all crappy houses, but they're across the street from a $40 million school. Might make you a target for the city to steal your property, but you know what I mean? But it's across the street, and I know if I fix it up, it's a rat hole now. Maybe it's in Cleveland and it's been vacant for 20 years, but if I do it, got rehab for $30,000, $35,000, I know I can get $1,600 in rents because the neighborhood's changing, or I know I can get $1,200. You know what I mean? And you can be all in for that, and that's all you have to pay. Everything will be new, and you're getting $1,000 a month. Then at that point, yeah, it's like a 33% return on investment, right? So when the payoffs are huge, and you have that comfort level and you have the resources, that's when I recommend you finding houses that are a little cheaper, but you can get that deal. Now, on the opposite end of that is people who don't want to do any. Well, then you're going to have to travel, because if you don't travel, you can always get a turnkey property and make a $50 a month in cash flow, right? But I mean, if you're working with me, you probably want to make pretty aggressive. My minimum I want you to hit is $250, and that's only if you're in the South and you don't want to leave. Right? And even then, it's still in a lower price property and in a market that can facilitate that. So that's the other end. Like, I don't want to do any work at all, but I can get a turnkey, and it's $50 a month, and that's really good. I don't ever want you to be on that end, because if you're doing turnkey, you don't need to work with me either. Just go buy it and be happy with your $50. But honestly, if you're only making that much in cash flow per property, I don't know. To me, that just doesn't seem why you would be doing this, not have a rental property. Right? Not unless you just had hundreds of thousands of dollars and you just need someplace to set your money, right? Like, I just need somewhere to sit that's stable, right? But I'm not really going for financial freedom. That's the only reason really turnkeys would work. You just need a storage that offers better than your 401k. So let me take $100,000 out of that and just sit. Yeah, I get $50, $100 a month, but honestly, it's just sitting there, and I could possibly get appreciation in 30 years versus keeping it in my 401k. Who knows what can happen with that if I try to take it out during an economic downturn, right? Because economic downturns can take 5 to 10 years. You don't want to wait it out sometimes. And if it crashes and you have to wait and you just don't have that time, it's something to think about. So that's the other end. So what I try to do is I find out from my clients, well, depending on your resources, you might have to be more all in on the mortgage versus all in on cash. So you can do this. So if you have $10,000 versus $30,000, you can buy a property, but let's buy a $45,000 property that has everything already fixed up and renovated. So that might be a market that's an hour farther than what you found already, because the market you found has them, but you need $10,000 to $15,000 more to fix it up, right? And at that choice, you make your decision. What's your decision at that point? Your decision can be like, I'm going that extra hour and a half because this is what I want, and I'm okay and if I make that choice to do it. And the other is, I absolutely don't want to do all that extra effort, and so, you know what I mean? So, so basically what I'm trying to say, you can find a market where at that price point, everything's already done, even if you have to travel further. And these might seem like small considerations, but if you don't consider it, you will be the person that sells their property and hate real estate. And you're on the forums talking like, I hated it, blah, 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 where you could have been the person who was like, I loved it. It was fine. Yeah, I knew that, but that was the choices and options I had at the time. So I made that decision, and it was the best decision because it's giving me exactly what I wanted, and I'm getting to my goals quicker, and I can work on my higher purpose quicker, right? And so those are some of the considerations. And then the third part of the renovation. So first, it's like, what do you want to do? And make sure you get the payoff that's commensurate with the amount of cash you're putting up. Second, how much resources do you have to do it? And so you need to scale and find a market and protect the property based on that, and don't overlook it, right? If you have heavy cash versus not heavy cash, you just need to do different things, but yes, you could still get started. And then the third thing is, how do you manage that long distance? So my rental income system, I go pretty deep into this. Like, I'm doing a renovation right now, but I don't need to be on the ground. It's a combination of highly rated contractors. It's a combination of using your people on the ground who are there to help you, like property management and real estate investors, and real estate agents who are really good. And it's also a combination of using pictures, phone calls, and just keeping up to date. You don't necessarily have to be on site to be kept up. It's more about the contracts that you do and making sure the contract is written well. And it's all about the contract is written well, making sure that you're keeping up to date on everything. So I've done big renovations and I didn't have to be there because depending on the price point, if it was a big renovation, like I said, I divided it up into 4 different spots, or divided it up into 4 different sections. You did not get the money for section 2 until section 1 was done. Are you with me? Basically, that's the secret sauce. Everyone's so scared. That's the secret sauce. You make that, and my training goes into details about how you want to do it and how you have that conversation if they don't just give that to you, and how to force the issue if you want to work with them. But if you do that, you never get past 1. And let me tell you something. They will always ask you for money for step 2 before they have money before they're done with step 1. If you have like 4 different sections of a big renovation, they'll always ask you for money early. Don't give it to them. And that's how you stay on point. So those 2 secrets. That's it. I know everyone's like, oh my gosh, big renovation. That's all you got to do. It works 100% of the time. Because if they can't finish with the first part, you do not give them money. If you don't give them money and they can't finish it, you can hold them accountable for that list of the first 4 things that you wrote down they needed to do before you went on to the next sections. And so if you do that and you use a combination of pictures, phone calls, real estate agents, or property managers to keep an eye on things, all of a sudden, investing in rental properties long distance is not a big deal at all. And that is what I help my clients do. This is easier than you thought. I know some people act like it isn't, but just because some person doesn't know what we know doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just means they need to up their education and find out more skills and network with more people who are doing it well. So, yeah, this can be easy. I just wanted to give you some examples of what's in the training and what you can do and your mindsets, and go from impossible to very much real. Just a few little twerks that work with, the situation, the environment, your budget, and, making sure it's mutually beneficial for you and the contractor, but it still works to hold people accountable. If you put all those foundations in place, it is easy and it's not a big deal, and you will be a more empowered rental property investor. So with that, thank you guys for watching. I'm just going to talk about my Black Friday sale. I don't see any chat. If you have any chat or any comments, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them. Okay. So the next part, I just want to talk about Black Friday sale before I get off this live today. It's a lovely Friday. So I was talking about my sub 30K rental income training. I'm offering a Black Friday sale. If you go to my website, the training is $1,500. If you also go to my investing in Out-of-state training, that's $300, so it's $1,800, but I'm offering that today, $1,800 value for $500. If you're in my monthly membership, go to the Facebook group or read your emails because you have even more bonuses because you invested in me and my membership, and I'm always giving you guys goodies like every 2-3 weeks, as you know, which is why you like to stay, which is why I want you to stay. Always trying to make it happy, so you get even more bonuses if you go there. So go there, look at the secret link in the secret page, and you get more bonuses and accesses if you're in my monthly membership. But it's $1,800 value. You save over $1,300. You get it for $500 today if you want it. A lot of you wanted to work with me. You know I know what I'm doing. You see the people in my group who are working with me, and they're happy as can be, and you want that too without the struggle, right? Because you work with me or you work with my training because you don't want the struggle. You want the answers, not the struggle. And you couldn't do it or you didn't want to spend a bigger budget because you're saving up for your investment. This is the once-in-a-lifetime offer. I am not offering again whatsoever. You guys know me. I mean that dead. So it's just the one time if you'd like it. You also get a 1-hour fast implementation call. I'm going to tell you exactly how to set it up and what you should do first before you so you don't just go through everything, right? Like I want to set this up so it's realistic and want you to think about certain things as you get started. And that'll have a Q&A at the end. You'll also be, I'll also do a 30-minute strategy session phone call with you because and I want you to do that like 2-3 weeks after you've seen some of the material because then your questions will be more thoughtful and we won't be going over things you'll be asking me for that you can already know the answer to, but then we can scale it up and personalize it for you. And it's amazing what you can get in 30 minutes. The way I do my coaching calls, I'm like, who are you? What are you? What resources do you have? What are your travel preferences? How comfortable are you with renovations? And then we start finding out what the right market is and the right properties that you should be looking for. So you have the strategy in place with what you have and where you are right now. And it's very detailed. My coaching is not the same as my strategy sessions. My strategy sessions are high level. What are the goals you want to hit? Whereas my coaching is like, okay, what do you have? Where do you want to go? How do we get there? And you know, it's pretty concise. And for the first 10 people who sign up, you get an extra half-hour coaching call, which I suggest you do about 4 weeks after our first one, so you can solidify some information, apply what I gave you, and then come back with just better questions. 2 to 4 weeks after the first one. You just need some time to implement it and then see where, okay, what about this and this, and then come to me. But I've been doing this for 5 years with people all over the country, and you guys have been watching my videos, so you know what's up. So there's just not too many obstacles you're going to have that we don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways to like work with. And those ways depend on who you are and what your resources are, again, and we scale from there. That's the benefit of working with I like to say the people I've worked with have been, over the last 5 years, they're like me. They started at the bottom. Now they're here and they're trying to go there. And they're just people who know how to adapt and thrive, and they're amazing. They're really smart. They're really intelligent. I learned from them because I showed them something and they're like, oh, you know, I took what you did, Lisa, and I did this. And then like I said, I put it in my training. I have to do a training tonight because they showed me a way to easily find sub 30K lenders that was easier than what I was doing. And I didn't put that training in the rental income system, and I'll do that tonight for everyone too. So it's just easy, super easy to learn if you work with me. So yeah, you get the training, you get the 1-hour phone call and Q&A at the end, and just to set you up so you don't waste your time and you make the most out of it. And 2, the 30-minute phone call. And I offered it for the first 10 people who signed up, but it's the first 5 people now because 5 people are already signed up, can get the extra half-hour training. I would love to work with you guys. So that is the Black Friday deal. It is once in a lifetime because, you know, it just is what it is. And yeah, so you get the sub 30K rental income system, as I was talking about in the beginning of this live. You also get the half-hour phone call, and if you sign up quickly, you'll get an extra half hour, which I want you to use 2 to 3, 4 weeks after. So that is what's going on today. And with that being said, happy holidays. I hope this was helpful. I know for some of you guys, finding a mentor, you're like, what? Pay for knowledge, but you know, people, you know, you got to do what I did when I didn't, you know, work with someone or get training or have the training available, you know, and it's a slow, hard road, isn't it? Whereas the people who work with me, who invest in this opportunity, it's night and day. It's easy. It's not difficult. And I just look at people like it's not that hard, people. But, you know, again, I've been doing this every day for 5 years. It's not going to be hard for me. And the kind of people I've been working with have taught me stuff. So you just get better and better. So that's it. Thank you guys for staying. If you have any questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, I will just log off. Anyone here? All right. How do you find reliable contractors? All right, thanks, Kamai. So what I do, especially since I invest out of state, I make sure I get contractors where I can hold them accountable with their online reputation. So I go to places where there are review systems, and I only go to contractors who are 5-star. Like I like to say, you already got a cheap property, cheaper than everyone else in this game. So spend some money on the contractors, right? And and this is Kamoy Matthews. She's on Facebook, so thank you for the question. I like questions, as you can see. I like to step up to them. So you wanted someone with the online reputation because that's what you're going to be using as leverage to make sure they do the job the way they're supposed to. So let me give you an example. I found a 5-star rated general contractor for my Richmond home, and he was doing his work, and he finished something, and then I had my property manager go check his work because I didn't feel like going down to Richmond. Right? I was like, I don't feel like going. I'll have her do it. You know, I call her up, and that's part of her job, to go check on the contractor. So I went to her, and she did that. And she took a picture of the floor where he did not do the flooring right. She was stepping on it, and they missed a bit of padding, so it was like, there was that gap of like 5 centimeters, but every time you walked on it, it pressed down. So she was like, he didn't do it right. She took a video of it, and then she sent it to me on the phone. I took it and I sent it to him. It was done the next day. And this is why. When you get someone who cares about their reputation, someone who's on Angie's List or Thumbtack, but they have a 5-star, there's someone who cares about their online reputation and who responds to things, they care about it. So you want a contractor who knows their online reputation is important, who works to get it. And the reason it was done right is because he knows as soon as I posted on his review on Angie's List or on Better Business Bureau, and I linked to that video, that anyone who saw his work would never work with him again. He made sure it was done right. Now, he should have done it in the first place, but it was a subcontractor to him, and he didn't check the work, which he should have. But regardless, you get someone who cares about that because you know with a single picture or video of their work, you can make sure that they do what they need to do. Now, if I got something off Craigslist, which I used to do, which I don't anymore, you can't go back to a single listing, right? It's not a source. You know what I mean? So if you get someone off the street who doesn't care about that, you can no longer leverage high quality work or a video or a picture, but you can if they don't do it right with other people. And so when you do that, you really cut through all the BS. I don't do anyone who has like a C, D, or F grade, either on the Better Business Bureau or on Angie's List, but A is mostly what I go with, and I will settle for a B of some sort if like the A's are just too busy and I can't get them, but I won't do anything less. And if you hold stringent to those requirements, you're getting people who care and have pride in their work and who know if they don't do something right and you post a picture of their work and it's not right, they'll do it right. And at the end of the day, I'm not in here to extort them. I'm in here to make sure you do what you said you're going to do at the price you're going to do it. That is all I want. No one's out here trying to get over on anyone. I mean, like 1% of people, but like, no, just do your job, do it right, and we're good. Right? So that's one way. So you paid less for the house, pay more for the contractor. That is what you got to give a little, right? It's just not going to be a free-for-all. Life doesn't work like that. You give and take in different places, but if you give and take here, your overall net cost will be the greatest. So let me see if there's any other questions. Let me go to YouTube real quick. There is not. All right, guys. That's it. I'll put a link to the Black Friday sale if you're interested. But thank you guys so much for staying with me for the 15 minutes I was on. I appreciate it. And I'll be on every day through Monday to go over different parts of investing that some of my coaching clients, when they came in, were worried about. But by the end, showing that there was really easy and good solutions to handling them, all of it. Who knows? I'm probably going to go on Bigger Pockets tomorrow and see all of, like, word from word, everything I said online. So, you know, which I wouldn't mind if they, like, at least said, Lisa, like, showed me this new thing I didn't think about. They always try to act like it's theirs. But outside of that, I'd love to work with all of you guys, and I work with powerful people. I'd love for you to be one of them. They're just amazing. I attract them, and they go on to do great, excellent, amazing things. And I can't wait. The social of network and social of influence of investors who are going on to do great things, I can't wait 10 years from now to see, like, how connected these powerful people really were. And I'd love for you to be one of them. So thank you guys so much. And signing off.